Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl T with T's Book Nook, and today we're going to be reviewing Harlem Rhapsody. First things first, want to wish everybody a happy Black History Month. We're coming to the conclusion of it, but I'm still going to be celebrating because every day is Black History Month for me, or every day is Black History period for me because I'm Black. So, anyways, let's get into it, right? First things first, this book is a 5 out of 5. I loved every single sentence, every piece of dialogue, every everything about this book was amazing to me. I don't care. It's about a woman named Jessie Fawcett, who's an editor for a magazine called The Crisis, which was published by the NAACP back in the early 1900s. Now, interesting fact that I found out while reading the book, the NAA was founded by like mainly white people. I didn't know that, but like the more you know, I guess. Anyways, so she basically takes up a job there, and while she's working for this magazine, publishing all these writers and stuff, she meets a bunch of the great minds that we come to know of today, like Langston Hughes and County Cullen, and she basically cultivates their talents. And literally, without her, we would not have Langston Hughes. Like we wouldn't have Zora Neale Hurston. We wouldn't have any of those people. And I just find that so interesting that nobody talks about her. Anyways, let's get into it, right? I think one thing that truly stood out to me in the book is how society failed Jessie after her time at the crisis. You know, we're gonna get into why she left, but she was a brilliant mind who brought us the people who laid groundwork for Black novelists today. And after her time at the newspaper, nobody would hire her regardless of all her like accomplishments because she was Black and because she was a woman. And I just imagine how many more great minds we could have had if she had had the chance to fully flourish in what she wanted to do. Um, at the end of the book, she goes back to being a teacher, which isn't what she actually wanted. She wanted to be an editor at another magazine, but again, they wouldn't hire her. But even teaching, she still cultivated the minds of people that we come to know of today. I think it's speculated that she might have had James Baldwin as a student as well, and we all know, he's a great mind and an activist for the Black community. But other than that, let's get into the mess real quick, okay? First off, Miss Ma'am travels up to New York from Pennsylvania or Philadelphia. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Anyways, she travels to New York because of W.E.B. Du Bois, right? She's his mistress. And not only does he fly her to New York, but he gets her an apartment close to his house. And the job that she has is just a title he made up just so they can spend more time together. Mind you, this man is married, probably been married for a few decades at this point. But by the time she gets to New York, their relationship is like 5 years in. And it is so crazy to me. Freaking throughout the book, it is speculated in their like social groups that they have a little something going on. And that really affects her respectability as a woman. But then she plans the 25th anniversary of Dr. Du Bois and his wife. And, but I just find that so crazy. Like, you were literally sleeping with this lady husband and you sitting there planning their anniversary party. Baby, have you no shame? She was on her knees bad for this man. I'm not gonna lie. And before I go any further, just let me say I don't feel this way about the actual people in real life. But this is just how I feel in relation to the book, which some of these are true events, but that doesn't matter. I still see W.E.B. Du Bois as a great mind, his double consciousness theory about Black people in his book, The Souls of Black Folks. I've read it. It was such a good freaking read. I'm going to do a review on that as well. But like, the situation was just crazy. And then when she catches him out and about with another female, he's sitting there smiling up in her face and like he ain't do nothing wrong. But then in the same breath gonna be mad that she's sitting there having dinner with another dude. Like, what are we really talking about right now? You want to do your little thing and she can't? Be so for real. There are so many layers to this book as well that I really did appreciate. It's so much to talk about. Like how back in those days, white people could not fathom black people telling their stories. And in order for it to be more digestible to them, a white person had to write from the perspective of a Negro. And that's the only way that they would like really listen to the plight of these oppressed people. And throughout the book, it seemed that they try to challenge those social standards. And I think it really comes out in a relationship with Langston Hughes and this Charlotte lady, I think that's her name. She like basically becomes his godmother. She finances his food, his home situation, and she just wants him to write. But instead of like wanting him to write from the heart, she wants him to write in the way that she understands black people, if that makes sense. Like she wants all his writings to reflect how he feels about Africa and like his primitive nature, which is absolutely crazy to think about. But at the same time, he probably wouldn't have gotten this far, or he probably wouldn't have been as successful if it hadn't been for her and her funding him for like a good portion of his life. Anyways, towards the end of the book, Jessie does publish her own book, but it's incredibly crazy how the white critics were like, "There's no way that the plot of her book makes sense because Negroes can't possibly live the same lives that we live, and they can't possibly have the same knowledge and go through the same situations that we go through." And so it was just, there's so much in this book that was just so great, and you guys have to read it and just be engulfed in that world. It's so good. This is a historical fiction, and in the author notes, she, did her research on everything, and everything in here mostly is based on true events, and some of it is a work of fiction. She does tell you what specifically was manipulated to fit her timelines at the end, so I did really appreciate that part of the book as well. But to end it, yeah. I know I'm rambling, but to end it, it is a 5 out of 5. I highly recommend. Y'all need to go read this expeditiously. Y'all just read it. Just get a hold on it and read it. This is one of the books that I'm definitely going to buy a physical copy of. But anyways, thank you so much for listening. It's been your girl T with T's Book Nook, and happy Black History Month.